Welcome to another edition of the Giants Huddle Podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. I am John Schmelk. Very happy this week to be joined by Giants tight end Daniel Bellinger. Belly, what's up, man?
Thanks for having me, man.
I'm happy to be with you. Let's start here. 4 catches, 88 yards for you last week, career high touchdown. What went well for you last week that allows you to put up that type of production?
Yeah, I mean, with guys going down, myself, Theo, and the tight end group as a whole had to step up, make some plays, and I feel like we did that.
Now, you guys have leaned into tight end stuff the last 3 weeks. Over 40%, 12 personnel last 3 games, the 6th most in the NFL. How has these personnel changes, you think, helped the offense? And how have you seen it maybe impact how defenses are approaching you with having 2 tight ends on the field?
Yeah, I mean, it gives our offense a lot of versatility, allows us to do a lot of different things in the run game and the pass game. It helps having tight ends that can do both. And it just keeps the defense on their toes. They have to either put in nickel defense or base defense to kind of switch things up. They're not sure what we're going to do, and that gives our offense an edge.
You think 2 tight ends, you generally think under center stuff, but you guys still been doing largely a lot of shotgun with the 2 tight ends. Is there a difference for you guys with 2 tight ends, whether it's shotgun or under center?
Not too much. It helps Jackson, get his keys and read the defense
Sure.
a little bit better in the shotgun. But it doesn't change too much for the tight ends.
How have you seen teams? Have you seen them lean into more base? Have you seen them either maybe put more guys at the line of scrimmage? Have you seen them adjust how they're approaching you using 2 tight ends more?
Yeah, typically, they'll add guys in the box and go more base defense. But, when they do that, Coach Calf and Jackson, they have the calls and make the play and adjust to the defense.
Now, we've also seen Cam Skattarabu kind of emerge over the past few weeks, and it's more of a power style running game, I would say. Does that just lean into the impact of 12 personnel even more, having a guy that's always going to fall forward, get those tough between the tackle yards?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Scat's a special guy, and he's going to run through somebody's face no matter what. So defense has to account for that. And, when you have a guy like Scat that can do that, it opens it up for the tight ends as well.
You say he's a special guy. Look, I think fans have their impression of him. I see what I see. But as a teammate in the huddle that plays with him, What makes him a special guy?
One word, it'd have to be energy. The guy just brings so much energy to the huddle, to the offense, and just on the field, and he plays with his hair on fire. And that, makes us want to play just as much hair on fire as him. And, it's a lot of fun to have him out there.
All right, take me behind the scenes a little bit, because in the offseason and even last year, you guys were a very heavy 3 wide receiver, 11 personnel team. Mm-hmm. That's what you practiced a lot of in the summer. Now you have 12 personnel packages and all that stuff. Did you have to transform some of those 11 personnel plays into 2 tight end plays, or did you have to actually install new stuff, given how much you lead into the double tight end stuff?
Yeah, I mean, somewhat of both. With the 2 tight end stuff, we got to implement new things and kind of different nuances to the offense. But overall, it's a similar offense. We're just kind of finding different ways to use the tight end instead of receivers on certain routes. But at the same time, me and Theo can run some of these receiver routes. So keeping it consistent and helping Jackson with it as much as possible.
And we've seen a lot of, I'll call it fullback stuff out of shotgun, where Cam's in pistol and either you or Theo are next to the quarterback, kind of in a staggered fullback type of role. How is that different for you, and what do you like about having that as part of your job now?
Yeah, I mean, I feel comfortable with it. I've been doing it for a few years, so definitely a comfortable spot for myself and Theo. But it just, again, brings versatility to our offense, allows us to do different things out of the backfield, allows us to be the fullback role, traditional role, leading up through the A-gap, and it also allows us to kind of slip past the linebackers. And so, again, just kind of giving the defense different looks and kind of different things to keep them on their toes.
Huddle up, get in here. If you're lined up here, you gotta go over the middle with it to score.
Right. How do we make that happen?
I don't know, but Citizens does.
Make sense of your money with Citizens, official bank of Eli Manning.
I was going to ask you, one route that I know that, or one play that I've seen you guys run a lot, going back even to last year, maybe the year before, where you're lined up as a fullback, you play action, you as the lead blocker, then guys are worried about the run, and you release, and it's not even like dump-offs. You're running like deep flag routes and stuff like that. Does that type of stuff, and is that kind of an example of the type of matchup advantages this type of style can give a team?
Oh, 100%. I think the coaches do a good job of trying to find these different mismatches. And, it's tough. It's tough for a linebacker when, you have 2-3 times where we're leading up as a fullback, hitting them in the mouth, and then 2 plays later, it's slipping right past them for a wheel route or something like that. So, just keeping them guessing helps us a lot.
Talk about how well the offensive line has played over the last 3-4 weeks since Andrew's come back. I talked to John Runyon about this the other day, and I asked him if he thought it was like maybe the best 3-game stretch you've seen from the group. And he didn't say no. He didn't say yes, but he didn't say no. What have you seen from this offensive line group since Andrew's come back, and just frankly how well they're playing, because I feel like it's flown under the radar a little bit, to be honest with you.
And some of this comes from the younger guys too, but just that energy and the O-lines, just they're rising to the level of it. They're playing gritty, they're playing tough, and they're a veteran group that we can lean on.
Do you find that you guys are being asked to chip a little bit less now that you have Andrew Thomas at left tackle?
100%. Him and Jermaine, they're both,
Jermaine's playing great.
Yeah, they're both playing. They're doing great jobs on the edges. So again, it allows us to kind of open up more and not have to do so much chip help.
How does that impact you? If you have to chip or not chip and you're trying to get into a route, does that change the type of routes you can even run?
Oh, yeah.
How does that impact you?
Yeah, I mean, it changes our timing a lot. When you chip, you got to make sure you get the DN on the right angle to help the tackle, because you don't want to, push them up the field, or you don't want to jam them inside and kind of help them with their games. So definitely changes up our timing on different things in terms of route running and stuff like that. And so it allows us to kind of get out and get into the route faster instead of having to jam and then get into the route.
I feel like this hasn't impacted you guys at all this year, but I've seen with other teams, if there's not good continuity between tight end and the offensive tackle, sometimes the chip actually can be detrimental to the tackle if you guys are not on the same page. So how often do you guys work on that? And how do you communicate pre-snap how you're going to chip? How does that work?
Oh, yeah. I mean, 100%, because, a lot of these guys nowadays, they get off so quick on the ball, especially when you're on the road. You can't hear the snap count and everything. And so we work on it pretty consistently, just kind of getting different angles, making sure we get the right angle to help the tackle, and making sure the tackle knows, like, hey, we'll give him a heads up, usually in the huddle or as we're going to the line, like, hey, you're going to get a chip here. That way he knows he can get a different pass set when he has a chip and a different pass set when he doesn't have a chip.
All right, I asked you about Skattarabu. I got to ask you about Dart. Talk about in the locker room, rookie, he's rocking the chain. He's got some swag to him.
Yeah.
Give me like the locker room, like what makes Jackson Dart the guy?
Yeah, I mean, one word for him is just moxie. He's got that moxie to kind of, and that swagger going in the locker room. And he you wouldn't think he's a rookie. You know what I mean? The way he kind of leads us, the way he kind of understands the offense, can read a defense and put the ball where it needs to go. He's definitely ahead of his years, and he's an exciting player.
I think from the outside, everyone kind of waits rookie quarterback. He's going to have that one game where everything is just, he sees stuff he hasn't seen before and things have just fall apart. I mean, there hasn't even been like a quarter like that, I don't think. Why do you think he's been able to be so able to adjust to all the new things that he's played some of the best coordinators in the league too, have thrown at him over the past 4 weeks?
I mean, it's a testament to him. He's done the film study. Obviously it's a testament to Russ and Jameis and the quarterback room to help him get ready. But he does a lot of stuff on his own, a lot of studying, watching the film. And then at the same time, we're there for him to lean on in case he needs us, whether it's a call on offense or if it's something that he sees. He does a good job of coming to us on the sideline and throughout the week, kind of telling us what he sees on the defense and what he wants from us. And then he does a great job executing it.
If you want to know how to manage 2 minutes of crunch time football, I'm your man. But if you're wondering about a long-term financial plan, you should talk to Citizens. Hey, I can also talk lawn care.
I'd like to learn about a mowing routine.
Yes, I knew I could help. Make sense of your money with Citizens.
And we've even seen some checks too, pre-snap now more and more. On the two deep plays, there was I don't know what the calls are or what's going on, but he's tapping his head between before the two big plays to you. He made a check on the Tracy run that went in for a touchdown. Do you see that confidence in him translating what he's seeing pre-snap to then making the adjustments to get you guys in the right position to succeed?
100%. Yeah, I mean, for him to be able to read a defense like that, especially as a rookie, is a hard thing to do. But he's done a great job of that, and give credit to the coaches as well and Kafka helping him kind of understand that and making those checks and those reads. But he's done a great job of executing it and reading it well. All
right, let's get to the Eagles very quickly. We don't have to go through the whole team. You guys played them 3 weeks ago, right? So what's the challenge, first and foremost, of having to play a team like that twice in 3 weeks that you're already very, very familiar with to begin with?
Right. I mean, one, they're a good team. They're a very good team, so we got to be ready for them. But like you said, we just played them, so we got to find different ways to kind of dress up what we did two weeks ago, and get ready for it again, and making sure that they don't have an idea of what we're going to do, and make sure we switch it up. You know what I mean?
You can't switch up too much though either,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, can't switch it up too much, but different kind of motions and shifts to kind of get them guessing, and kind of get ready for that.
Can you look at stuff that you showed them in the last game and then develop counters? Okay, well, this play is going to look the same. It's going to look like this, but now we're going to run play action off it, something like that.
It's like a chess game, because it's like, obviously we want to run what we ran that worked, but at the same time, they're looking at the same plays like, okay, how can we stop this? And so we got to have a counter to that. And then again, if they show us something completely different, we got to have a reaction to that as well.
Two more things on the defense. They're going to have Jalen Carter back in there, and Quinion Mitchell, who missed a lot of that game 2 weeks ago, is going to be playing. What kind of impact does the presence of those two players have on their defense and how they're going to approach you and how you're going to approach them?
Yeah, two great players. We're fully aware of how good they are. And so we definitely have a good game plan going in against them. We just got to be aware and understand that, listen, if they make a play, we have to make adjustments to it. And we have to understand what they're going to try to do and make sure we press the gas to make sure that they're on their toes and not sitting back ready to fight.
Finally, you kind of mentioned this when I talked about the 12 personnel stuff in general, but Nakobe Dean, it was his first game back the first time you guys played the Eagles. So he's not kind of all the way back. Now he is. And they have him, Jahad Campbell, the rookie who's very good, and Zach Bond, who's an all-pro linebacker. Do you think you might see some more base defense from them this week, given all three of those guys are healthy and, quite frankly, how well you guys ran the ball on them a couple weeks ago?
Yeah, 100%. Obviously, towards the end of that game, we did a good job executing and running the ball. So I think they're going to be ready for that. We just got to be ready to counter off it.
Belly, best of luck. Appreciate the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Daniel Bellinger on the Giants Huddle podcast, brought to you by Citizens, the official bank of the Giants. We'll see you next time, everybody.